Good evening, everyone. My name is Celeste Lacabra. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to go through the new Vinegar Syndrome announcements. Looks like there's about 5 titles for the actual Vinegar Syndrome line, and then I think there's a dozen new partner labels that were announced for today. So I wanted to give you my thoughts on these. We can all get excited for this stuff together. You can maybe learn something about these if you didn't feel like going through it yourself. In any case, let's take a look. Okay, so the first one seems to be a new Vinegar Syndrome archive release. It's called Red Sun Rising. The subscriber price on it is $22.49. I'm logged into my account and I am a subscriber, so those are the prices you're going to see. If you're not a subscriber, the prices are going to be higher. By the way, this is also the first time they're rolling out their new website formatting look or whatever, where the subscriber prices are just built in and you don't have to use coupons. There's also some new ways to filter the titles that are available, and it's not doing it here, but around I think now under 2,000, it'll tell you exactly how many are left in stock as opposed to less than 1,000. So that's cool, just gives us more information. Now this looks to be some kind of Yakuza film, some kind of police procedural, maybe martial arts type of deal. I've heard from Justin Liberty at Vinegar Syndrome and others that this is pretty racist and maybe not that good. So this isn't included in my subscription, and I think I'm definitely going to take a pass on it. Give that one a miss. This next one is entitled Buried Alive. So let's take a look at that. Janet has taken a job as a teacher at Ravenscroft Hall, a girls' reform school for juvenile delinquents. Not long after arriving, Janet's dreams become plagued with haunting visions of a mysterious brick wall, coupled with a very real increase in disappearances of the facility's young pupils. While dismissed by the headmaster as nothing more than runaways, Janet is not convinced and begins investigating the history of the school and its assortment of unbalanced staff members. So it's from the director of Edge of Sanity and Encheta. That's probably not right at all. Yeah, this looks to be an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat, and stars Donald Pleasance, among others. I don't know, this one looks pretty fun to me. Not too much in the way of special features, just a couple of interviews, but you know, I'm going to be getting this one, so I'll let you guys know what I think about it when it arrives and I get a chance to go through it and I do my review for the films in this month. Okay, next one that I'll be receiving is Mutant Hunt. So this one says, in the near future of 1992, robots have become a facet of everyday life. Dr. Z, the diabolical head of one of the country's top robotics firms, has developed a solution named Euphoron, which when injected into his cyborgs transforms them from manservant into impossibly strong and powerful killing machines in an attempt by Dr. Z to take absolute power. So, I mean, it's from the director of Breeders and Robot Holocaust, so, I mean, it's gotta be good, right? I don't know, this seems like a pretty campy sort of 80s video store sort of deal with killer robots and all sorts of fun stuff. So there's a very long interview with the with one of the actors, and then there's another one with the makeup effects artist. Oh, and then another one with another actor. We'll see. I feel like this could go either way. The cover art looks pretty fun, I guess, so we'll have to see about that. Let me shrink myself a bit here so you can see this better. Okay, next is The Iceman Cometh. I love this cover art, and I gotta tell you that this looks sick as fuck. I'm very excited about this one. So this one's limited to 5,000 units. Some of these names might be hard, I apologize. Feng Xiaoqing is the chief royal guard during the Ming Dynasty, whose job is to protect the emperor at all costs, including with his own life. One day, Qing discovers that one of his men, Feng San, is a sadistic rapist with a penchant for murdering his victims by breaking their limbs. After Feng San attacks the princess and several other women, Qing is tasked by the emperor with hunting down and killing him in order to restore his own honor. However, things take an unexpected turn when the two men come face to face for a duel to the death, only to become literally frozen in time by a mystical device known as the, quote, Wheel of Life and Death. 300 years later in modern Hong Kong, Qing and Funsang are accidentally thawed out. I'm going to stop it there. I mean, this just sounds fucking crazy, pretty wild, off the wall sort of deal. It's like a fantasy horror, like martial arts film. It stars Yun Bao, who was in Righting Wrongs, which I reviewed on the channel not too long ago. So yeah, I'm really excited to check this out. There's 2 cuts of the film, the original Cantonese and then the international English cut, which I'm generally not a fan of. But it's cool that they're both in there for fans of that cut. Commentary track, some interviews, and a booklet. I love a booklet. So, The Iceman Cometh. Sounds hard as fuck. I'm excited. And then the big draw, I guess, for this month is the 4K UHD debut of the 1970s original, The Amityville Horror. This is a pretty big blind spot for me in my horror viewing. I've never seen this one, and it's been on my watch list for like a while. So I'm excited to check this one out for sure. And I'll be getting it, and I'll get to see it in 4K. It'll be a good time for all. I like this cover, but I like the back art better. It's hard as shit. I'm really into that. The fucking upside down crucifix with blood and flies. It's metal as shit. I'm into it. This one's 6,000 units. Although I'm sure most of my viewers have seen this already, but let's go ahead. George Lutz, his wife Kathy, and their 3 children have just moved into a beautiful and improbably cheap Victorian mansion nestled in the sleepy coastal town of Amityville, Long Island. However, their dream home is concealing a horrific past, and soon each member of the Lutz family is plagued with increasingly strange and violent visions and impulses. Fearing for their sanity, they consult with Father Delaney, who realizes a dark supernatural presence has consumed the home and is attempting to propel the Lutz family into becoming its latest victims of unspeakable acts of violence. One of the most acclaimed and terrifying horror films of the 1970s. Oh, it's directed by the guy who did Cool Hand Luke. Okay. I'm a huge fan of that film. I wonder how similar it would be, but probably not at all. I don't know. I guess we'll see. UHD debut. Yep, restored in 4K from the 35 OCN. Original unaltered theatrical sound mix with an optional stereo mix. That's cool. I'm a big fan of that. I'll definitely be watching it with the original theatrical mix. My Amityville Diaries, a brand new making of documentary. For God's Sake, Get Out, an archival making of documentary. And then just a shit ton of interviews. And a commentary track by Dr. Hans Holzer, PhD in parapsychology, and the author of Murder in Amityville. That should be a fun one on the rewatch, or for fans of the film that are already familiar with it. Definitely check that out. And some other fun stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. I've seen some people complaining that this one's boring or it's too mainstream or whatever. Like, look, here's the deal. If you want Vinegar Syndrome to keep putting out these like Z-level fucking no-budget VHS only gems that 99% of people don't give a fuck about, you gotta let them have a couple wins and put out like some mainstream titles so that they can fund this stuff. Like, every company does this. It's a pretty easy to understand tactic, and I don't quite understand why people are upset about it, but it's not like this is just a re-release with nothing. I mean, it's a 4K upgrade, right? You got new special features, you got new artwork. If you're not into it, you can just sell it, or you can just not buy it if you're not a subscriber, you know? So, simmer down. Looks like the complete package, if you want to get the VSA as well, and all these goodies, is going to set you back $149. So, not too bad, I guess. All right, now let's go through the absolute smorgasbord of fucking partner label titles. I guess let's start at the bottom. So, the first one from Connie, Viva Erotica. So this one is limited to 3,000 units. Let's see, beloved Hong Kong icon Leslie Cheung from Happy Together stars as Singh, an ambitious out-of-work filmmaker with 2 flops to his name. When his producer secures funding for his next project from a freshly cleaned-up triad financier, he is saddled with the sexy Taipei starlet Mango, tasked with being more, quote, Wang Jing than Wong Kar-wai, and encouraged by his long-suffering girlfriend, Singh gets to work on his first softcore porno. So that looks fun, right? So yeah, it looks like this is essentially about a dude who has to make smut when he wants to make art. And I looked this one up. I looked all these up prior to doing this because I wanted to see what I was interested in, you know. And this one actually seems to be fairly decently acclaimed. I guess that's probably why they went ahead and did 3,000 units for this one, because it's kind of a popular title, I guess. I'm thinking about this one, to be honest. I'm not going to get it now, but I'm thinking in the future I might have to scoop this one up. We'll see. Looks like we got some interviews and some commentary. We got a booklet, some artwork. So not a ton of special features, but you know, it's something. Is this a new restoration or something? High definition presentation. That's not very enlightening, but okay. So that was a strong maybe for me. Okay, from Saturn's Core, from Saturn's Core, we have 16 Tongues. This one is retailing at $45. So for the subscribers, that's $22.50. For everyone else, it's probably like 30-ish, you know. Got some wild-ass cover art here. There's the back. Pretty intriguing. Let's see. Adrian Torque is a renegade cop who has lost more than half of his skin in a terrorist explosion. Ooh. His missing flesh has been replaced with the tongue meat recovered from the 16 victims that died during the tragedy. What the fuck? Ginny Chin Chin is a genetically engineered prostitute. I don't know about this. Slash assassin chasing down the scientist who implanted her sex organs under the folds of her eyelids. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble just for reading this. Alex Silence is a wearied computer hacker hunting through the pornographic abyss of cyberspace for the identity of her brother's killer. At a rundown S&M hotel purgatory where even the strangest desires can be met for a price, the trajectories of this star-crossed trio intersect in a claustrophobic collusion of sex, blood, bullets, and personal apocalypse. As a transgressive dystopian chamber piece that fuses cyberpunk imagery, psychosexual malaise, and austere surrealist delirium. I don't know. This seems like it's maybe too much, but it also sounds like something I'd be into, to be completely honest. This one is from 1999. We got a couple audio commentaries, some festival screening features, a music video, more featurettes. Oh, two of his student films. Damn, I really am a sucker for when they include extra films. So, And there's a bonus movie, Saint Frankenstein. It's another short film. I don't understand why this is categorized as a bonus, and this is, I guess because these are student films and this is like a proper short film. I don't know. But the score was done by Fabio Frizzi. So that's, I mean, there's real people associated with this, right? I don't know, I gotta be honest. I looked this one up too, and it seems to have a fairly good reception. I might be interested in this one too, honestly. It seems so out there. And if it's actually kind of decent, I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. Okay, next, from Altered Innocence, Saturday Night at the Baths. So there's your slipcover art, which I actually really like. You have the bathroom tiles with this towel sort of deal. And then, is that the bathhouse? That's a fucking big building if it's a bathhouse. Okay, so Altered Innocence is the gay one, so I'm usually pretty interested in the stuff they release. Let's see. Newly restored in 4K, David Buckley's landmark excursion into bisexuality. Shout out bisexuals. 70s relationship politics and the historical importance of gay bathhouse culture, as celebrated in his 1975 film Saturday Night at the Baths. When struggling pianist Michael lands a job at the legendary Continental Baths in NYC, his wife Tracy encourages him, even emphasizes how special this institution is. Michael, however, struggles with his own homophobia, yet at the same time starts developing feelings for his confident and sexually free co-worker Scotty. Shot on location inside the famous Continental Baths and featuring an unforgettable 12-minute scene of the actual entertainment, both musical and sensual alike, Saturday Night in the Baths is a sublime example of the compelling and sensual queer cinema of one of the most groundbreaking periods in gay and bisexual film history. It's 1975, 82 minutes. We got a video essay, a couple interviews, and Spanish subtitles. I mean, okay. Not a lot here. So this was one I was tempted to go ahead and pre-order, but I looked it up. It has kind of a lukewarm reception, and again, I read Justin Liberty's review of this where he says that it's like much tamer than it probably could be and should be. Like this one is rated R. I don't know. If we're gonna do gay, like I'm not. Doesn't have to be safe gay. You know what I mean? Like straight gay. I don't know. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on this one, and this might be a rent or stream first before. Like if it's really good, if it's really emotionally impactful, that's cool. But I was kind of hoping for something more subversive when I clicked on it, you know? What can you do? Okay, I've added a little bit of mood lighting. But next from Canadian International Pictures is Nobody Waved Goodbye. There's your artwork. There's the back of the slip. A startling film that shows what teenagers feel, but never tell. Teenager Peter Mark has it all. Supportive parents, a loving girlfriend, and a comfortable middle-class existence. But on the brink of finishing high school, he feels emboldened by his impending freedom and decides to pursue a rebellious new path. After his parents make their disapproval known, Peter decides to move out on his own, confident he'll conquer the working world with his insight and sophistication. When the reality turns out to be far less glamorous, he settles for a shady new job that continues his criminal evolution. Often ranked among the most important Canadian films of all time, Nobody Waved Goodbye is the feature directorial debut of Don Owen, who tapped into his documentary roots to deliver a gritty, low-budget answer to Rebel Without a Cause. In addition to 3 of Owen's early shorts, this disc includes Christopher's Movie Matinee, an inventive documentary that shows where Toronto teen rebellion landed just a few years later, and Lonely Boy, the landmark Paul Anka short that preceded theatrical screenings of Nobody Waved Goodbye. So, Canadian International Pictures tends to do like uber obscure stuff, like stuff you really can't find anywhere else. This one seems to be a bit more mainstream, and from what I could tell, is pretty highly acclaimed. I guess I'll go ahead and spoil it now. I went ahead and bought this. I'm really intrigued by it. I've been really impressed with the work that Canadian International Pictures has been doing, and I love this trend that they have of including like fucking 8 short films or whatever in each of their releases. This has an 88-minute like full documentary that I tried to look up, but is fairly obscure. Like nobody's seen it, so I'm very curious about it. And 4 short films. So get your money's worth. You get a booklet too. You get subtitles on everything. Hell yes. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'll talk about it at some point on the channel when I get a chance to watch it. I won't be getting it in the mail for another month, so you just have to wait with bated breath for that one. All right, let's try to blast through the rest of these. There's so fucking many of them. Okay, from Fun City Editions, we have Married to the Mob with this pretty fun slipcover artwork. Very colorful. In a star-making performance, Michelle Pfeiffer is suburban mafia housewife Angela DeMarco in Jonathan Demme's hit comedy Married to the Mob, when her unfaithful husband Frank the Cucumber, played by Alec Baldwin, I like how they have to explain who Alec Baldwin is, like, oh, thank you, is iced by his boss Tony the Tiger. Angela flees her cloistered existence on Long Island for the big city with several interested parties in hot pursuit. Tony, who's smitten with Angela, Tony's insanely jealous wife Connie, the Fisher... No, that's just movies. And FBI agent Mike Downey, who believes Angela is the key to locking up Tony for a very long time. So this is the one he made before Silence of the Lambs, huh? Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty popular film, and it's being only limited to 2,000 units. I gotta say, I don't understand how Vinegar Syndrome decides to limit their titles. It doesn't seem to make intuitive sense to me in terms of the popularity of the films, but whatever. So we got a new 2K restoration from its 35mm interpositive. So that tells me the OCN wasn't available, so that's probably why this is taking so long to get a decent home video release. and maybe why a label as small as Fun City Editions ended up getting it. I don't know. Some new interviews, and a booklet, and a podcast audio commentary, I guess. So not a ton in the way of special features. This is a pretty mainstream film. Like, I looked it up, and it has a good amount of people who have seen it. I mean, it is Jonathan Demme and Michelle Pfeiffer and Alec Baldwin. You know, like, this is not your typical Vinegar Syndrome fare. So it's available for streaming on Prime Video, so I'm going to go ahead and watch it that way and see how I like it before I commit to it. We'll see. Maybe one day. I apologize for the very inconsistent and often terrible lighting here. This room really is just not ideal. Next from Decanalog, we have KFC. So there's your cover. There's your back cover. Just kind of blood. That's what you get here. Limited to 1,000 units with 664 left in stock. This one's moving units pretty quick. Okay, talk about out of left field. The omnibus of strange and harrowing stories connected by vagabond characters at various levels of moral bankruptcy revolves around the same KFC location. So yes, that KFC is what they're talking about. A sick doctor and his twisted cohorts attack random people and ultimately cannibalize them. The doctor's own rotund young son has grown accustomed to the taste of human flesh and gleefully tries to share it with street kids who have already run afoul of an assortment of evil creeps. Bizarre would be an understatement for this out-of-control orgy of revenge. Out-of-control orgy of revenge, featuring cryptic dialogue and plastic, almost detached depictions of deliberate torment and the squashy, sucking, splattering, and dull thudding of abused flesh. Debut filmmaker, I don't want to ruin this poor man's name, takes the body horror genre to new heights, combining an ethereal ennui and ennui with raw, visceral savagery. Not for the faint-hearted. Okay, geez, so this is a film about KFC and cannibals. Okay, it's from 2016. It comes at 69 minutes. Nice, seems appropriate. It's in Vietnamese. Contains mystery meat, an interview with the filmmaker, a critical essay by a Vietnamese journalist, and another interview with the director. So I gotta tell you, I was pretty tempted to go ahead and buy this, and looking at how many are left, I'm kind of still tempted to buy it. It just seems so fucking nuts. I mean, I don't know. I've heard it's really, really disgusting and foul, so maybe it's not exactly my thing, but maybe it is. I couldn't really find this anywhere, and I think it has a pretty lukewarm reception. I think it's pretty divisive. I don't know, this might be one I need to see first before I go and buy it, so we'll see about that. Okay, let's talk about this one. From the American Genre Film Archive, Fuck the Devil and Fuck the Devil 2. Okay. So there's your hideous slipcover, I guess, and then this is the back. He's wearing his Evil Dead 2 shirt, I see. Okay. Exploding out of the German horror underground, Fuck the Devil and Fuck the Devil 2, Return of the Fucker, are cinematic equivalents of DIY comic books that were made by a teenage stoner while experimenting with bootleg acid. Not exactly selling it for me here, but... And there's nothing else like them. The films tell the story of the fucker, a phantasmagorical death machine who materializes from haunted VHS tapes of Evil Dead 2 and A Nightmare on Elm Street to wreak havoc on unsuspecting parents, teens, and babies. Fueled by subversive violence, experimental techniques, and an unconditional love for the horror genre, these Casio-core-driven miracles teleport us into a dreamlike panic state where Rambo posters, 8-bit, sound barfs, and Nightmare Freddy's rule our subconsciousness. Okay. So these are very short films. The first one is 29 minutes, and the second one is 29 minutes as well. Okay, so the director cuts are significantly shorter, but in any case, it contains both versions of both films. So you get 4 cuts of the. You get two films and 2 cuts essentially here, and the originals are about 10 and 5 minutes longer. I don't know, and then you get audio commentaries on the director's cuts. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I looked this one up. It does not look like my thing at all. It honestly seems like trash to me. Like shit that would barely qualify as a decent YouTube video, but if it's your thing, that's great. And if it rules, you should tell me, because I'm not going to find out by watching it, I'll tell you that. Okay, from Dark Star, we have Fair Game. There's your cover there. And there's your back cover. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, let's see. A young woman running a wildlife sanctuary in the Australian outback is in for trouble when she is confronted by 3 kangaroo hunters. Bored with killing kangaroos, they decide to kill the animals in the sanctuary, and when they see how attractive the owner is, they decide to have a little fun with her too. Turns out that they may get a bit more fun than they bargained for. I don't know about this. This description, I think, is kind of gross. And I don't know if I want to watch kangaroos get murdered and women just get raped. And then that's the movie. I don't know. It's from 1986. I've actually heard it's fairly decent, but again, this is one I would not be willing to blind buy. I'd have to actually watch it first. Audio commentary from the director. That's nice. Interview with the lead actress, I guess. And, oh boy, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short films from the director. So, again, honestly, this list of short films is more intriguing to me than the feature film itself, and more of a reason for me to buy this. Because these are the sort of things that are just so often hard to find and undervalued, and sometimes are straight up impossible to see before these Blu-ray releases. So I don't know. There's a lot of these left in stock. Maybe I'll wait to hear more about it. If it's actually a fairly good subversive feminist rape and revenge film, as I think some of them are, then that's one thing. But if it's just exploitative and trashy and gross, I don't know. We'll see. From Culture Shock, we have Devil Rider with this pretty cool slip artwork. I gotta say, some of the better artwork in terms of, look at that shit. God damn, he kills for the thrill. This is amazing. I love this. Unfortunately, okay, let's talk about the film. Yuppie Tom brings his investor buddies out to a dude ranch, hoping they'll want to help him turn into a high-end resort. Tom has a connection with the place. His family's blood is in the soil. For a century, the Devil Rider has roamed the land, killing all who try to claim it as their own, awakening whatever it is trespassed upon. Tom and his friends will surely die unless they figure out how to kill the Devil Rider. Then there's a VHS cut of the film presented in 133. There's some interviews. I don't know. I looked this up and it seems really boring and not that good. I don't have any interest in this, except I keep looking at this image and I'm like, God damn, that's sick. And now I do have some level of interest in it. But I'm going to put this in the try before you buy category. Okay, next from ETR Media, Dead Guy, Killing Music. This authorized documentary chronicles the short-lived career of the band Dead Guy and their seminal hardcore album Fixation on a Coworker. Featuring never-before-seen pictures and videos, unearthed live audio recordings, and more, featuring interviews with every member of the band and industry peers. From 2021 at 88 minutes, we have a shit ton of concerts here. I don't know if these are audio only or visual as well. 2 podcast episodes that the director did or appeared on. A bunch of photographs and stuff. Okay, so Dead Guy is an old hardcore band from the late 80s, kind of like a metallic hardcore band. I'm a fan of them. I actually became a fan of them relatively recently, maybe a year ago, because they played the Metal and Beer Fest at Philly. They did their reunion show there, and I went to that. So I saw them live at their reunion show, and they were great. They're not my favorite hardcore band or anything like that, far from it, but they are a really great band. They just have the one record, and it's really good, and I guess that this goes in depth about it. I gotta tell you, I almost bought this. I had this in the cart, and then I was like, hold off a little bit. We'll see. Because even though I'm a fan of it, I don't know that I need a whole thing about it, it's not like Converge or the Misfits or I don't know, some other punk bands that I really, really love and are special to me, and I would watch a documentary about, or the Menzingers or something like that, bands I really, really love. This is a band that I like a lot, I honestly don't know how many people will be interested in this at all. It's kind of like when they did the Caius Queens of the Stone Age documentary last month. At least those are big bands. This is pretty niche stuff. So, does any hardcore bros or Dead Guy aficionados want to tell me how this is? Feel free. Kind of a cool slipcover though. We'll see. It's a little bit cheaper than these other releases too, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm definitely thinking about it, but we'll see. Okay, from Terror Vision, we have Blood, Guts, and Sunshine. We got a fucking gator biting off a really shitty looking hand. Sunshine. It's like a Florida license plate, I guess. That's cute, right? And then the back. I'm not a fan of this artwork, I gotta say, but you know, it's not bad or anything. Snake, Sunshine, Summer Heat, and Horror. Explore the independent horror film scene that Florida has been vigorously pumping out since the invention of film. All right, simmer down, Florida. This Blu-ray is jam-packed with interviews, exploitation, never before seen footage, and cinema madness. Watch and learn about films new and old in this exclusive documentary made for cult horror fans. Featuring exclusive interviews from Herschel Gordon Lewis, John Waters? There's no comma there. I'm assuming that's John Waters and John Landis, and not somebody named John Waters, John Landis, because that would be something. William Grief, Sean Donahue, Chris Woods, yada yada yada. Satan's Children panel is one of the... What the fuck does that mean? It's listing these special features as if this is supposed to mean anything to me, but okay. I guess Grindhouse Video is that video store that's kind of like Orbit DVD and that they sell shit, except it's usually kind of expensive. But, you know, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. I looked this one up too. It looks like nobody has seen this, so I don't know if it's any good. Like, could go either way, you know? I mean, it is a new one. It was from 2021, 127 minutes. This is probably a pass for me, unless somebody really talks me into it. And finally, from Factory 25, we have Ape with that, let's call it lovely slipcover. bunch of apes on the back. When this sells out, how many people are going to be like, all my apes gone? Like, how many jokes are we going to have to endure? I don't know, I'm laughing at it. It's my fucking joke, so probably a lot. Trevor Newendike is a struggling comedian and a pyromaniac. Not only does his act bomb on stage, but he bombs in everyday life too. Fed up with threats from the cable company, Slurpee price hikes, and all the jerks who think they can push him around, all Trevor wants is a break. But instead of getting himself together or channeling his anger for his act, he turns inward to the loud din of his headphones and the crackling glow of fire to ease his mind. Chicago Reader summed up the film perfectly. It's like a Descendants song, mixed with Late Buñuel, mixed with bumfight videos, and it's fucking brilliant. Okay, so this is from 2013 at 86 minutes. It has a short film called Coyote. That's cool. Making a Molotov cocktail. That sounds maybe illegal, but I'm into it. Making a flamethrower. I'm guessing these are not instructional videos, as they would imply. Music video, American Evening by Chance Jones. Not familiar. Commentary, 24-page booklet with original jokes written for the film and essays. That sounds fun. So I'm told that this is like kind of a King of Comedy sort of deal, or like Joker before Joker came out. But it seems to be like a send-up or like a satire of like, you know, like white male alienation or whatever you want to call it. This sort of deal where like the littlest thing makes these dudes fucking shoot up a school or something horrible. Like, you know what I'm talking about. So it seems to be a satire of that kind of thing. This is streaming on the Criterion channel, so it has that kind of cosign that makes me interested in it. But it also means I'm going to watch it first. So I'll get to that at some point, and then we will have to see. So, I think that we covered 17 releases in all today. Vinegar Syndrome, out here, pumping them out, as usual. Lots of good stuff here, lots of stuff that seems questionable, but it is what it is. That's all for me today. Let me know what you plan on picking up in the comments, and keep supporting physical media, for the cult is alive. Bye.